In high performance computing, we have 4 different domains, which are supercomputers, clusters, grid computers, and cloud computing devices. Now, what are cloud computing devices and what are their basic constituent parts? Cloud computing is basically, idea is that we have on internet, we can use devices of other people and take advantage of different working and resources of different people across the internet. What are different characteristics of a cloud computing application? If I start from different applications, which are, number one is abstraction. Abstraction means that we don't know that which people machine we are using. We are just focusing on our own work. Then we have end user accessibility. End user accessibility means that we are able to access other people resources on our machine through internet alone. Then we have sharing of simple computer resource. So single computer resource is being shared amongst many users without any delay. Then we have virtualization. Virtualization means that something is virtually present, but hardware existence we can't identify that from where we are getting data. For example, if we take example of a Google search engine, what we usually do, we write www.google.com, then we enter our search query and then find the results. We don't know that from where it is searching data, where is the supercomputer which is performing tasks is present. So this is basically a virtualized environment in which we are not clear that from where we are getting results. Just we are focusing on the results which we have achieved, and then we see if these results are useful for us. Then we have common cloud services. So there should be some list of services which are being provided by a common cloud. So moving on, if I want to define a cloud computing machine, so I can say that cloud computing is using the internet to access someone else's software running on someone else's hardware in someone else's data center. So the things are that this system is basically physically different, software wise different, and its storage is also different. So everything is in control of someone else, but what we are doing, we are getting services from someone else data center, computer and software. And then what are the advantages of using these things? So here we have shown an example of traditional data center in this left panel. So what is happening? We have a computer power on the y coordinate, this one, and then we have time in this coordinate. So what is the major difference? That here we have lot of wastage of time and resources, and this wastage is directly proportional to customer satisfaction. If there is wastage of time or resources, then customer will not be satisfied. On the other hand, if I come to this cloud section, this cloud computing, what is happening? There is no customer dissatisfaction which is shown here because there is no wastage of time. So what is happening? This blue part, this is basically on demand capacity. On demand means that what user is demanding. On the other hand, this red line, this one, this is basically actual usage. So we can see that in cloud computing, whatever is the demand of the user, actual usage is also the same thing. On the other hand, traditional data centers, usage of the systems and demand of the user, they are very different. For that purpose, there is wastage of resources, and that is directly proportional to dissatisfaction of customers of specific device. Now, what are different characteristics of cloud computing? Number one main objective or characteristic is pooled resources. Pooled resources means that there is some mechanism for sharing of resources amongst its users, and they are in a pool. Pool means that they are being given to some specific user turn wise, that at one stage they are being given to one user, and later stages they are ready or free to be given to different users of the system. Then elasticity, then we have automation and metered billing. So this metered billing is basically a mode of payment, that how much a user usage, he should be paid according to that usage. Now, how a cloud can be used as a bioinformatics resource? So for this thing, we have this input job message queue. So what happens then? Different people can apply for different jobs. So these jobs are being put in a queue. So once this queue is being done, then this queue is an example of a pooling service. Pooling service means that these messages will be delivered or will be performed one by one. Then this is task specialized server, so which will be performing different tasks, and this is output message queue, so which will be generating output according to some specific input job. So how these functions are being performed, we have the collection of our raw data, results and snapshots, which are basically used for producing the results in this section. This task specialized server is communicating with this raw data thing. Then we have customized machine image. So these machine images are basically different nodes which are available in a cloud device, and this is basically satisfaction notification or status notification. So status tells us that at current time which job is being performed. For example, if there are 3 different users, so it will tell that at current time first user's jobs are being done, or the second one, or the third one. Then we have cloud delivery models. So these cloud delivery models are basically 3, which start from this infrastructure as a service, where we are sharing our hardware resources, which are being shown here, and we have given some examples here, such as this Amazon Web Service is performing this infrastructure sharing. Then we have platform as a service, so Windows Azure, which is developed by Microsoft, that is a very famous example of this thing. And then we have software as a service, and Facebook or our Google type things, these are software as a service example, which is shown in this part. So the user, what happens is there is no difference between all these things. Here is user, which takes all these things as the same thing, that this software as a service, this data as a service, or platform as a service, these all things look similar to a user which is standing outside of this cloud. In cloud computing, there is a very common or important concept which is called virtualization. This virtualization is basically a term used for virtual machines. Virtual machines are those machines for which machines we don't know specific location of hardware. So if I give an example of a common machine, which is shown in the left panel of this image, which is this thing, this is our common machine, which is without virtual machines. So what is happening here, that we have this physical host hardware as we have in our common desktop systems. Then there is one operating system, and on that operating system we have different applications installed, such as in our computing devices we have our physical host hardware, which consists of our motherboard, our hard disk, and so on. Then we have operating systems such as Windows. Then we have different applications such as Microsoft Word type things. Then we have games and so on. On the other hand, this virtual machine, which is shown in this right hand side, this part. So now what happens is, the difference is we have same physical host hardware. So hardware can be same, but then we have virtual machine monitor. This virtual machine monitor basically, it is responsible for having different guest operating systems. So this one is 0th operating system, and this one is the first operating system. So 2 different operating systems, and then these operating systems will be having different applications. So 1 to n applications on this machine, and 1 to n applications on these machines. So at one time we can be running different operating system on the same physical slots, and then these physical slots will be using for different operating systems, and on different operating system we will be running multiple applications. Infrastructures in biology. Now why we need these things in biology? As you know that in biology we have difference of infrastructures, data, then platforms. So what we need is that we need some common virtualization mechanisms which can be used for biological data. For example, this EMBL, this part basically, it is our database which is taken from European Molecular Biology Lab. Then we have different tools such as these tools, which are being used for performing multiple sequence alignment, phylogenetic analysis, and so on. Then we have these web services. So if we make some virtual machine which should be performing these tasks at different levels, so we use some operating system for performing this EMBL task, then another operating system for performing these tools, another operating system for performing these web services. So the idea or the good thing would be that these performance will be very fast and time efficient. So here I have again given this example that these are our bioinformatics tools which are shown at this panel. So these tools are basically BLAST and ABIS and phylogenetic machine learning, cluster W, and so on. And on the right side, these are our different operating systems. So what we are doing in this part, that we are combining our application. For example, we are combining this BLAST with this Red Hat CentOS system, or we can use this one with this thing. So combining these different applications or tools with different operating systems, we can take advantage of the virtualization concept, which is a common thing about cloud system. And these tools can be run in parallel and with time efficient mechanism.